another stitch. For those that don't know me, my name is Connie, and if you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you. And if you are new, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know how you found out about my channel, and let me know a little bit about yourself so I can start to get to know you better. Well, today's video is all about temperature blankets. And I get asked quite often, what is a temperature blanket? And I'm going to answer that for y'all in this video here. Also, I will show you my temperature blanket that I made last year, the temperature blanket that I'm working on this year, which is almost finished, and my plans for my temperature blanket for next year. On top of that, I am going to be doing a temperature blanket challenge in this video. And for those that complete their temperature blankets, there will be a giveaway. So anyway, let's get started on the video. What is a temperature blanket? Very good question. Okay, according to Google, it's a temperature blanket is a crochet or knit record of the temperature throughout a set time period using predetermined temperature ranges with associated yarn colors to create a unique masterpiece. Okay, so basically, you are basing the colors of your blanket based on the temperature for that day. And there are so many things that you can do when it comes to temperature blankets. Typically, you can do crochet, knit, even loom knitting to make your blanket. So you take the temperature for that day. And typically most people do the average temperature. I have heard of people doing the high for the day or the low for the day. Really, a temperature blanket is however you want to do it. But anyway, a good source to get the temperatures is AccuWeather. That's where I go, and there's other sites online too. And you can also access previous days temperatures. I mean, you can go back years on the site to get the highs and lows. But you take the average for that day, and you do your row based on that day, temperature for that day. And basically you assign colors of yarn for the day. Traditionally, you see a lot of people do the rainbow colors. I've seen it where people do shades of a color. Like this year that's finishing up, I did shades of blue. Also, I saw someone take ombre yarn and get the different colors of ombre yarn and do their temperature blankets with that, which I thought that was really neat. And you make a range for the temperature for what color you want it. A lot of times you see about 10-degree brackets, and that's how I do mine. But it doesn't have to be 10 degrees. Based on the weather in your area, you can do smaller increments. Like especially if you don't have a lot of variety with the change in temperature. Also, if you have that where your temperature goes from like averaging in the 90s all the way to like below 0, you might want to make your ranges maybe 15 degrees or 20 degrees. It's really all up to you. And I've even seen too where people will use like special thread and use that on the rows too, like for birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions. So that's another idea. Typically most people do 1 or 2 rows per day for their blanket. I find 1 row works better because when you do 2 rows, your blanket's probably going to be way too big. And then too, like with crochet, there's so many different stitches too. There's so much you can do when it comes to crocheting. Like granny squares is an idea too. Now the only thing with crochet, I've heard people say that even with a single crochet stitch 1 row a day, the blanket still gets kind of big. So you're gonna kind of have to play around with that. Um, my advice is go to maybe Ravelry. There's groups on Ravelry to do with temperature blankets, or Facebook groups, and just ask questions. Get ideas from other people how they did theirs. But anyway, I think that basically explains what a temperature blanket is. And if you have any questions, just ask in the comments and I will do my best to answer your questions. So in 2020, I did a knitted temperature blanket. And the way I did it was I did 5 rows at the top and the bottom in garter stitch. And then whenever I started each row, I did 5 stitches at the start of the row in garter stitch and 5 stitches at the end of the row in garter stitch. And I did that all in, I used black for that, but I used one color. And then like the temperature of the day I did it, I changed it to the color for that temperature in the middle. And I did that in stockinette stitch. And every month I did a border row, which was black, which matched the border. Um, I like doing a border row. You don't have to do one, but I find it breaks up the months better, and I don't know. I personally like that. But I'm going to let you now see a picture of my temperature blanket from 2020. So that was the progress of my blanket from last year. And the temperature blanket that I'm doing this year, that's almost finished, only 6 more rows to go. This one I did differently. And this one don't really follow the normal for a typical temperature blanket. I did it in crochet and I did the granny stitch. And the granny stitch is a larger stitch. So if I would have done 1 row a day, that blanket would have been really, really, really huge. So what I did was I did the average temperature for the week, and I did 3 rows a week. And then every 4th week I did 1 border row. So that's how I did this one, and I did it in shades of blue. So I'm going to let y'all see the progress on my temperature blanket for this year. So that's the progress of this year's temperature blanket. So now I'm going to show y'all my plans for my 2022 temperature blanket. So for this blanket, I am going to do a knitted blanket. Again, I really prefer doing knit blankets for the temperature blanket. I find it seems to work out better with the length of the blanket. And I like to do 1 row a day. So this year, well, this coming year, my temperature blanket is going to be in shades of pink. Oh, and I also forgot to say that I'm going to be doing the chevron stitch for my temperature blanket. So for the border of my blanket, well, actually I don't think I'm going to have an actual border on the top and bottom this year. I'll have to see. But if I do, it will be in the Big Twist bubblegum right here. But I do plan to do a border row between each month, and this will be the yarn that I'll use for the borders. Big Twist bubblegum. Okay, so then the last 2 years I've done a temperature blanket. Our temperature never actually averages in the 90s. It's usually around 87, 88, 89. So I'm not going to do assign a color for the 90s, since I don't think the temperature will go there. But the funny thing is, it's really hot in Louisiana though. But our hot comes from the humidity. Okay, so for the 80s, I will be using, let's see if this is the right color I have. Yeah. The Caron 1 pound in the color Rose. I'm using a combination of Big Twist and Caron 1 pound for the blanket because it's hard to find enough shades of the same color and the same brand of yarn. Okay, so the next color that I will be using is here. It's Caron 1 pound in the color Raspberry Pink. And this is for the temperature in the 70s. So for the 60s, it will be Big Twist in Medium Rose. And for the 50s, it will be Caron 1 pound in Fig. Which this one is it's a little purplish looking, but it should still manage fine. So then for the 40s, I will be using Caron 1 pound in Soft Pink, which is right here. And for the 30s, I will be using Big Twist in Light Rose. And for the 20s, which I seriously doubt that we get into the 20s, but we did actually get into the 20s this year. Like there was 1 week that it was really cold. So if it does get that cold, I'll be doing the 20s in Caron 1 pound Pink Rose. And I don't think the temperature will go any lower than that. But I know the first year I made my temperature blanket, it didn't go, the lowest was the 30s on my first temperature blanket. But this year it did get into the 20s. But anyway, that's my plans for my temperature blanket for next year. So now I want to challenge you to make a temperature blanket in 2022. And like I said, I will be doing a giveaway for those that complete their temperature blanket. I will give y'all until the end of February in 2023 to complete your temperature blankets. And what you need to do is send me a picture of your completed temperature blanket. And it has to be before the last day of the month in February. So I think this year is, I don't think this year is a leap year. So by the end of day Central Standard Time, February 28th, I have to have your picture of your completed temperature blanket. And then those that complete their temperature blankets, I will do a video showing y'all temperature blankets, and I will pick one person at random to win the giveaway. And I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do for the prize. If you're internationally, it will be an Amazon gift card. But if you live in the United States, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a gift card, yarn, or what yet. That's over a year away. But there will be a prize for one person that I'll pick at random that completes their temperature blanket, that submits a picture to me. And basically, if you are interested in this challenge, let me know in the comments below if you're planning to participate. And probably every 3 months, I want to try to do a video of the progress on y'all temperature blankets. So if y'all could send pictures about every 3 months to show me y'all progress, that would be awesome. And or if y'all could just send me emails just kind of letting me know y'all plans, what colors y'all using, things like that. I'm really interested in hearing about y'all plans for y'all temperature blankets. But anyway, for the giveaway part, basically you have to be 18 years or older. I am responsible for the prizes. YouTube is not responsible for this giveaway. Um, if it's a physical prize, if there would be any taxes, duties, or fees, you would be responsible. But there shouldn't be, since a physical prize would only be U.S. only. Um, and again, if you're internationally, I will do an Amazon gift card if your country allows that. Um, if not, if for some reason you're in a country that doesn't, I'll see what I can do. If there's some way that I can do some form of gift card or maybe send PayPal. Um, but yeah, we'll talk about that. That would come, but I know most countries does Amazon. Then what else for the rules? Um, I think that pretty much, you must send me a picture of your finished blanket, and hopefully, oh yeah, it must abide by YouTube's guidelines and all in terms of service. And I'm going to have all the rules listed in the description box below of this video. I'm sorry. Normally when I do a giveaway, I have the rules in front of me to read out to y'all. But that's the main rules to it. And like I said, they'll all be listed below. This was a lot easier to enter than a typical giveaway. But anyway, that's the plan. So I'm challenging y'all to do a temperature blanket. And I hope everyone is having a fabulous Yorny day. Be the light, and bye.